It's important that the system loses credibility from here on out. And let me explain, because we have to adjust our thinking in this. You want your country back. I want my country back. Oh, okay, that's good. We only get that country back if normal Americans wake up and realize it's rotted and corrupt and broken and in need of fixing. And normal Americans, they aren't like you where they consume all this information. And they want to find out, okay, what's happening in the news? What are the news scandals? They aren't like you. Normal Americans, for lack of a more delicate way to put it, have to be beaten over the face with this stuff. They have to be shown time and time again, your government is corrupt and illegitimate. Your government is corrupt and illegitimate. Legitimacy, it is what the system needs to keep going. It is what every government in the history of the world has always needed. At some point, you've got to maintain legitimacy or you're going to lose it all. It's important the American people know that Joe Biden is not only a criminal. Okay, there's plenty of criminals. Not that I'm defending criminals, but there's plenty of criminals. Joe Biden is compromised. This is something that I think people seem to miss here. He's compromised. Because he's a criminal, because foreign agencies, foreign governments know he's a criminal, he cannot possibly make impartial decisions that are best for America because other countries have evidence of crimes he's committed. They have the ability to call and say, hey, Joe, this is the Russians. We have possession of another one of Hunter's laptops. They have one of those. Did you know that? You should see the juicy stuff on here, Joe. Would be a shame if this hit NBC News tonight. The president is compromised. Here's a bit from today.
At least 10 times, Joe Biden lied to the American people that he never spoke to his family about their business dealings. He lied by telling the American people that there was an absolute wall between his official government duties and his personal life. Let's be clear. There was no wall. The door was wide open to those who purchased what a business associate described as the Biden brand. Evidence reveals that then Vice President Joe Biden spoke, dined, and developed relationships with his family's foreign business targets. These business targets include foreign oligarchs who sent millions of dollars to his family. It also includes a Chinese national who wired $250,000 to his son. Joe Biden also lied to the American people about his family making money in China. He continued to lie about it even when the House Oversight Committee uncovered bank wires, revealing how the Bidens received millions from Chinese companies with significant ties to Chinese intelligence and the Chinese Communist Party.
That's really bad. And let's talk about that wire transfer he brought up. One of those wire transfers from the Chinese guy to Hunter, $250,000. $250,000. The other one was for 10 grand, but one of them was $250,000. And you have to, even on a wire transfer, you have to list a beneficiary address. And the beneficiary address on Hunter Biden's $250,000 wire transfer from the Chi-Com is Joe Biden's Delaware home. Joe Biden is compromised. It's way more than just Joe Biden making a phone call. This is a criminal who's been running a criminal political influence family for decades. He got up on stage and told you he didn't make any money in China. That was a lie.
My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China. I have not had, the only guy made money from China is this guy. He's the only one. Nobody else has made money from China.
That was a lie. And that brings us to maybe the most obvious one. And I actually have to give credit to the Bidens, to the Biden administration, because this was a really, really brilliant stroke. Biden's most corrupt act, probably his most nefarious criminal act of all this stuff, the texts and the wire transfers and everything else, his most corrupt act was having a prosecutor, a Ukrainian prosecutor, fired. And before I play the clip that you've seen 1,000 times on this show, remember, you have Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden is working for this company called Burisma. All right, this is the Hunter Biden Burisma thing. Burisma is this Ukrainian energy company. They've hired Hunter Biden for over $80,000 a month to sit on their board with no energy experience. Okay, so there's Hunter, there's Burisma. Keep in mind, Burisma is in Ukraine, one of the most corrupt countries in the world, has been for years. So this is a corrupt nation and a corrupt energy company. And you have this prosecutor, this Ukrainian prosecutor. He's investigating Burisma. He's looking into all this stuff. What's going on with this place? Joe Biden had that guy fired and held money over their head to ensure that he was fired. And then, in one of the most brilliant moves I've ever seen, bragged about it on camera.
And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a got fired.
The prosecutor did get fired. Did you know that after all that, Hunter Biden signed off on a memo to the new prosecutor once the old one got dumped? He signed off on a memo to the new one saying, hey, drop all this investigation stuff. Drop all this. This is all old news. Look, the FBI tried to cover up these crimes. They took possession of the laptop and they tried to cover up the crimes and prevent an investigation. The IRS tried to cover up Hunter Biden's crimes. But in the end, there were too many crimes. The Republicans took the House of Representatives. And more importantly, according to my theory, Democrats want Joe Biden gone. This impeachment inquiry, it is important. It's important not to remove Joe Biden. It's important so the American people finally wake up. So Norm and Norma finally wake up and realize our government is illegitimate, is so corrupt, we no longer have a legitimate government, including the President of the United States of America.